episode of The Unknown Pro. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are right now listening. We've got a special, our very first lacrosse player. So the first ever non-softball person, which is very exciting for a lot of different reasons. But today we've got Sammy Jo Tracy. What's up?
Hey, how are you? I'm so honored to be your first laxer.
This is a big deal. Okay, now I know that I can call you a laxer because that's kind of what I was thinking maybe. But yeah, I'm so excited to have you as the first. And we're going to dive into some cool things about you and about lacrosse and just about your journey thus far. Is that cool with you?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So first and foremost, I want to make sure that people know your bio because it's outstanding. I wrote it down right here. I'm going to read it so that people know like how cool you are before they get to listen to you talk about how cool you are. So you graduated from the University of North Carolina in 2017, where you were a two-time national champion. You were a two-time ACC champion, two-time All-American, two-time All-ACC. So you can see this is a really cool like list of
double the trouble.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Like not once, but twice. You are the record holder at UNC in draw controls for your career in a single season and a single game, which I cannot wait to dive into that part because that's just really cool in general. You are now part of Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse, which is having its debut season next year in 2021. And you played for the WPLL Pride for 3 years. So we've got quite an extensive bio here for you.
Yeah, it's a long one. But it's better long than short.
Right? Hey, and you know what? It seems almost like you only graduated a few years ago, so it seems like it's just the beginning.
Yeah, it's been definitely a crazy ride.
Yeah.
I came from a small town right outside New York City. Wow. And winning wasn't really a culture, but to kind of just dive into a program that's so incredible and kind of was always right there at the edge, and then being able to help them win their first ever national championship was always a dream of mine and kind of a goal of mine actually. And I wouldn't say lucky, but I got to score the game-winning goal in the 2013 national championship as a freshman.
Oh my gosh.
And so the crazy thing about that, my number's 13. I scored the 13th goal in 2013 in 31 seconds, which is 13 backwards, on May 26th, which is 13 plus 13, to win their first ever national championship. So I am very attached to the number 13, but I don't think, luck can only get you so far, but there was a time and a place, and I just took advantage of it, I guess. So that's how I started my career at Carolina. And then,
that's like a super high note where you're like, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and set the standard just like extremely high right off the bat. Let's just go and do that. I love the number connection too, by the way. That's like how my brain would work and be like, oh my God, I love like 13 plus 2 or times 2. There you go. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah, because we were just like thinking of all the scenarios, and it's just it is a little weird, honestly. Yeah. Like, and Amber Falcone, she's in the Athletes Unlimited as well. I was on the U19 USA, so the under 19.
Okay.
And she was a senior team, and I just committed to Carolina, and she really, she didn't have to, but she took me under her wing, and then she wrote, and we were both number 1 on US. And she wrote me this long letter and was like, I want you to take my number. And I was like, one, I actually only picked 1 because it was the smallest size. And being on varsity as an 8th grader, I was like, whatever. They're just like, this is the smallest size. Give it to her. I was tiny. And so I was like, I love number 1, but there's no real attachment. Whereas like now I'm like, I'm playing for Amber, and she was, an idol of mine. And it kind of, and then now we're kind of back together again. So
cool. Oh my gosh. I love that story. I think that's amazing. And like I was going to say before you said it too, is that you guys are going to be back together in Athletes Unlimited. So
yeah,
full circle moment. I actually read, is this your dad played lacrosse?
So my dad played at the University of Maryland, which is who I played all I played in 3 national championships,
Oh my God.
and that's our biggest rival. And I kind of grew up wearing like Maryland, everything, like turf. My dad brought me down there, and like I
Oh
would
my
rub
God.
the turtle, like all their little superstitions. And then when I got recruited, he was like, Sammy, like, this is your time. I want you to look at every school, and we will decide this together. And like one of my friend's dads took me out to ice cream, and we decided there. So like my dad was not a part of it. My mom, they just helped me get there. And then they're like, okay, here's the third party, which is my friend Casey Bachlet's dad. And he was like, here we go. Like, let's pros, cons, which I think is kind of important because, you know, you feel the pressure of going to like be where my dad played at Maryland, and he was a 3-time All-American and captain. So, but he was a defender. So he doesn't love my stick tricks, but it's okay. He's like, you're so fancy. Cut it out. Like, just do the simple. I'm like, oh my God. I know, but it's kind of cool to do a little bit of BTB, a little bit of Twizzler. So those are behind the back, BTB.
Beautiful. I love that.
And then the Twizzler is another like fancy shot that I love to use.
I'm gonna Google it after this and watch some Twizzlers.
Oh yeah, there's some good ones out there.
Behind the back, that like, so you take your stick and you put it behind your back and then you shoot it?
No, it's not that. I mean, I guess I could like, I would call that. We do that to get our arms out in the way when you pass it behind your back. But a BTB behind the back is like kind of you hit your shoulder. You're not supposed to hit your shoulder, but it looks like you're hitting your shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
You would be, because you have the hand-eye, you would be good at stick tricks.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think that for me, one thing that I struggle with in softball is like if there's a ball in the air and I have to like run for it, I feel like my head is bobbling. So I'm like, I can't actually see it, you know, because my head is moving. So I feel like I'd have trouble catching the lacrosse ball in my stick because I'd be like, my head's.
Then how could you even wear the goggles? The goggles would be bouncing around everywhere.
I get a really cool strap on my goggles that would go like that would really hold them in behind my head, I think.
Okay, but you make sure your pony is up top. It's very important. Don't crunch your ponytail.
Of course. Like if you don't have a good ponytail, you can't play sports, right?
So it's like a part of the swag.
It really is.
Like you need to like make your ponytail is like your own to make, but I like to have like a pony with 2 braids in it. But you softball girls love to, you know, do your hair and stuff.
Oh my gosh, right? There's like game day hair is unbelievable. Some of these girls can braid like nobody's business. I'm like, this should be your other profession because of how good these braids are for your game day hair.
Maybe I'll get some of the girls from Athletes Unlimited to do my braids.
I think that.
And I'm big on game day makeup, and I know you guys are too.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like specific eyeshadows and, you know, sparkles and all that kind of stuff. But it's nice that there's some crossover similarities between the sports because I look at lacrosse and it's totally foreign to me compared to softball. But I know it's kind of like a cool combination of a bunch of different sports.
Yeah, it's definitely like a lot of soccer really blah, blah, blah.
Whatever word that is, yes.
Whatever word that is crosses over. Let's just say another one. Crosses over really well.
Yeah.
And because of the way you dodge by people, which is where you kind of like stutter step and then, or, you know, plant and explode, or run by someone technically. Field hockey because of the stick. I think a lot of girls who, and I don't know. No one plays softball because it's the same season. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I think if anything, they'd play softball when they're younger and then transfer over.
Okay.
But you have like the ball and like, you know, in your mitt, it has like that like mesh in the corner.
There you go.
I know my stuff.
Look at us.
Oh, maybe all I know.
I know there's glove and I know it looks a certain way. You nailed it.
Has mesh in it. We have mesh too. So
that's so cool. Did you play lacrosse from a young age, or like how you said some people played one and then got into lacrosse, but since your dad played, was that something that you started very early?
I started playing with my dad. Having a catch in the backyard was definitely, he is my best friend, and I think we bonded over sports. So
I love that.
And but he was a swimmer. I swam. I also played soccer. I played volleyball. I played volleyball for a good portion, and
Wow.
I played club volleyball until they were like, you got to make a decision. And I ultimately chose lacrosse because I was the shortest girl on the volleyball team, but I did love to dive around in that back area. So in the back of the court. And then I played a little bit of tennis. So I guess my parents were really big into just doing it all. But at the end of the day, I think I put my most like off time, like when I'm relaxing or just hanging out, would be lacrosse. And my younger brother plays too. He's at the University of Utah. So,
wow.
But both my dad and my brother are defenders.
And then there's you, an attacker.
Yes, an attacker. And I love my stick work where my brother and my dad, I don't think focus on as much, but Daniel does. I promise. Like, now his coach is going to be mad at me.
Like, wait, here. So I heard that you're not interested in the stick work. That's so cool. And it's like I love that you said that about your dad, because that's how I feel about my dad. Like I think my passion began because he lit a fire in me when I was young, and with how much he loved softball and got me really into it. So that's definitely something that I loved. I love to hear that. And then you and your brother get to keep that lacrosse, that lacrosse gene very strong.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
My mom, she's just a good cheerleader, but she loves to watch. And
there you go.
She's
Everyone
invested.
needs a fan.
Yeah. Did your dad play baseball?
He played baseball, just like in high school. He played baseball and basketball, but then when he was grown up, he played like competitive slow pitch tournaments. So slow pitch is like, you watch our games and the pitch goes like this. Slow pitch, they literally toss it and it's like, meow. It's literally so slow. And I don't know how he did it, but he did it really good. And he was very fast. He did not pass that down to me. So I got some height in my life, but 0% speed, which probably wouldn't be good in lacrosse.
No, well, I'll make you a good draw girl. And
yes. So tell us, that's what I'm really excited. I'm glad that you brought that up. So you have this awesome record for draw controls for your career, for a single season and for a single game. So I want to know what that means.
So I love the draw from a very young age. I love having control. Okay. And I think something special about lacrosse is that you can really control the game. Whereas like, in softball or volleyball, you really have to stick to your role and do it well. Right. Yeah. Whereas like lacrosse, if I want to hold the ball, score, play defense, do it all, I technically can. And with the draw, figured out a way. I got taught by some of the greats, which is like Dana Dobie, Kristen Jalman. And it's like taking the ball. It's like a jump ball in basketball.
Okay.
And you press the ball in between the two meshes. So when I was younger, it could be lower in the stick. Now they've adapted to rules to make it a little bit harder. Okay. But they've also changed some rules to make it safer. And technically, so on the whistle, you're supposed to dig and you go up and away.
Okay.
So a lot of the times when you're tall, it's like jump ball. The ball usually goes straight up because girls push really hard and they time up that jump and they grab it, right? I found a way to keep it nice and close and tight because I'm only 5'3", maybe 5'4", and with my sneaker wedges on, probably.
Right, of course.
And so I found a way to like dig it. I call it digging the ball, like scooping it and then pushing it across my face over to my left shoulder and kind of grabbing it away from the other girl. So even if she was tall, my shoulder and my head, which we have a bubble that comes from the top of the shoulder all the way up to the other shoulder because we don't want you getting hit in the head, or the face, even though,
it's not with your makeup looking nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been smashed. Oh boy.
Oh God.
And so I figured out a way to kind of win it every time. And it took a lot of like practice, and I would take the train into Central Park and meet up with Kristen Jalman and meet her at the New York Athletic Club. And we'd go to Central Park and kind of just work on our one-handed stick work and things like that, where I kind of got a head start where I think girls start to specialize in college.
Okay.
So then I was like, I injured my foot my freshman year. You know, I was starting, and then since I got injured, I was like, I still want to be on the field, but I couldn't contribute as much with my broken foot.
Mm-hmm.
And the draw is kind of what still kept me, you know, playing.
Wow.
And then I kind of honed in my senior year, especially like my first senior year, and my junior, my senior, and then my 5th year, I was like, I'm going to do this as a career. And
Ooh.
so, oh yeah. So, it's like, it was such a roller coaster. And I don't actually talk about it as much, even though it is my job, just like how
Okay.
I became so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But it's about like creativity. And I had a coach, her name was Katrina Dowd. She's incredible. And she was so creative, and you could do a lot of like fancy things with the draw if you do it right, which I'm all about, like being flashy and fancy and like one-handed throws, and you could do that with the draw. So we spent a lot of time before and after practice with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I started winning, and then we started winning, and then going into my 5th year, a guy from the MLL at the time, so the Major League Lacrosse. Now they have the MLL and the PLL. So there's the Premier Lacrosse League and the MLL. And he was the greatest face-off guy. And his name is Greg Grenly, and he went to Penn State. He was on the U.S. team, and he broke all records for ground balls, everything.
Wow.
And he was like, I want to start a women's side. Do you want to do this with me? And I was like, yes. Like, so I think then I started to be like, started writing down like, okay, this is one thing I do like for fun that helps me better at the draw. So like ball placement, you know, I do all these like one-handed stick work training to strengthen my forearm, my bicep, and my shoulder. And then kind of ball tracking, whistle training. So all these things, I started writing them out and like going to his like face-off the draw days and technically creating my own. So I think that's how I started beating my own record, because I was like, okay, this is X, Y, and Z that's made me better, and I'm going to do it constantly. And I think that's what us draw girls are missing. Not everyone is constantly doing it, because the draw girl usually is the best girl overall. Scrappy, hardworking, kind of does it all. Where I was an attacker. I technically got a break. So I specialized in the draw, focused solely on that. And then I didn't have to run up and down the field. I wasn't as tired. So just like little things. But you would make a good draw girl, because you're tall, you have good hand-eye. Yeah.
Wow. I want to be a draw girl. I'm going to come to Lacrosse, and I want to practice my draw with the stick, because that sounds like, even just watching your hands when you're talking about it, like I can only imagine what it'd be like if there was a stick. Like, that's so cool.
I'll send you all the gear. We'll get you geared out, and then we'll make a call and where we could meet up and do a softball / draw session.
We'd have to. I mean, talk about good content. That would just, I normally like to specialize in making a fool of myself. So I think that would be a really good way to go.
Well, I love to swing hard, and I just, who knows how that's going to end up.
Yes, this sounds like just something in the works. I think that we have to make something like this happen, because I would love to see, it would be so great. I love listening to you talk about just the attention to detail going into your game, because I think about, playing softball, and you have to be able to, hit this pitch, hit that pitch, be able to, transfer your weight in one way or another, depending on where you need to throw the ball, like all those different things. So I love that attention to detail, which makes these things make sense, because if you have to work hard in order to be good at whatever it is that you're trying to do. So has that been something, did you feel like throughout your childhood, high school, and then getting towards college that you were that focused in that way too, or did it start to come later in college?
I would have to say, I think we all want to say it started when younger, but just to be honest, it did not. Like, I that obsession and that attention to detail definitely came at a college level. And I had great examples. Like I had great coaches that taught me like, this is an obsession, not like a hobby, and this is like how you get better. Whereas I think, but which is great in high school, I just wanted to play with anybody. I'm very social. I'm definitely a team sport person because I just love to, I was like, who can I call or text and to go meet me at the turf and hang out? And
That's
just,
awesome.
I guess I always had my stick in my hand, trying to impress the boys, doing a little bit extra. And then, but I always had it, I guess, in my hand, right? So I always put in the extra work, but distracted myself in the sense of that I was always with other people and fed off their energy. And but then that obsession to, you know, get me to that All-American status and all like that game time decision making, that 1% that makes you like the best, I think that came in college. And so.
That, I mean, and now look at what it's done for you. Look what it did for you in college, and look at where it's taking you now. I think that's so cool to just to dedicate yourself to your sport, to your craft. And I think that's something that it's really cool that that there's the opportunity to continue that. That's something that I've talked about recently with other softball players, that getting the chance to see what you can do even after college, you know, and that, you know, you've played professional lacrosse and you've been able to see what you can do at the next level after college. And what now that we're, you know, in this new Athletes Unlimited style, you guys are starting in July.
Yes.
July. So when you first kind of heard about it and saw what it was and everything, and then, you know, going to signing, what was going through your head? Because like you said, you're a team sport person, and even just from talking to you, I know that like you probably just are the life of the party, being in a room with people, you know, you can talk to anybody.
Thank you.
But what were your first thoughts, and what made you pull the trigger on saying, yes, let's do this?
So there's a lot of different reasons. I would have to say the ability to be creative was definitely a big part for me. And I love that. Like, I kind of think of us as like an avatar, right? Like as in a game, like in a video game.
Yes.
And right. That's when I think about it and I tell my friends about Athletes Unlimited, it's like you're a video game and you're collecting points, and but there is a team value to it. And I love that I have the opportunity to play with, like, there's some people like Kayla Trainer that I've been her enemy my whole career, and I want to play with her now.
Oh,
like,
nice.
I'm ready to play with her.
Yeah.
She hears this. And but I've been her enemy the whole time, right? So I have if I work hard enough and, you know, get my draw controls, get my ground balls, get like my scores, feeding, I as a attacker, this is like gold. Because I just have a lot of things I can gain points on. And then I can hopefully, you know, recruit her as a player of mine, right? So, and I think, you know, when we're getting drafted for the other leagues and stuff, they a lot of times put certain girls together based on personality and obviously moldability, because you're trying to create chemistry fast, right?
Right, yeah.
So where this is different, now the players create the chemistry, and maybe let's do a little switch up. So I was excited about that. Athletes Unlimited is so for a women athlete, and I've been an intern at New York City Football Club. So I've been in that pro environment, like major league environment. This is the best we've ever had, right? Like we have the resources, we have the guidance, like especially with my brand and being connected to you, it's something we really haven't had the resources for. And now we have it. And it's like, if you want to take it, like it's like a grab bag, right? Whatever you can grab and every opportunity, it's there for you. So it's super exciting.
Yeah.
Whereas like, just because lacrosse is small and we're still getting up on our feet. So it's like nothing against what we had. It was just such a smaller scale. So
Totally.
it's been super exciting to have all these resources and the knowledge and the like ability to learn about other sports and how they've become successful. And so so those are just like some of the very few.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's so interesting, the parallels between the sports, between lacrosse and softball, because, you know, people have tried to make successful pro leagues. Like, it's been something in conversation and tried, but nothing ever really stuck. And so talk about very limited opportunities to play professional. And I know you guys are on the same boat. So the fact that now there's this opportunity that seems like, this is what, when we were playing our season, I said to my roommate, I said, this feels like we're on the cusp of something. Like, it feels like this is the thing that can stick. And I love that that's coming across with softball, with lacrosse, and volleyball. Volleyball didn't even have an American pro league. Like, there wasn't even a pro league in the States. So to think about being a female athlete and look out and be like, well, it's going to be really hard to be a pro if I want to be a pro. But now we're creating, you know, we have these opportunities now, and hopefully it continues to grow. But what do you feel like? Because I mean, I'm assuming that there's been a struggle being a female athlete and trying to make it. Have you had to kind of have your lacrosse life and then another part of your life as far as like making money goes and those types of things?
I've been very blessed, but with the fact that I do this Draw Control Academy, which is,
yes,
you know, the support, but I have a lot of support of men, and I'm so grateful for them. But it's just, the men have helped me immensely. Like, if I don't think I would be, you know, where I am without the help and push of Greg Grenlian at the Face Off Academy, and the Trevor Baptiste, Jerry Raganese, these group of guys that treat me like their little sister, but helping my company and my brand grow and helping me push it. And but I know that there's only 3 of us that are doing full-time lacrosse if you're not a college coach. And just like kind of talking to my coach yesterday just on what's like my next step. And I, like, as a girl who's just trying to make it, it's like, do you push like your looks? Do you push your like fitness? Like, what is it that's going to grab the attention to keep you relevant, right? And it's like, you don't want to be too sexy, because I'm trying to be a great role model for young girls, but also there's opportunity in that realm for other income. So just this constant battle, and it's like, am I too girly? I'm trying to fit in. And because like when you're in the pro, that's just not what some girls are into. And then sometimes you feel like you're the only one. It's just trying to find this balance and trying to create connection with other pros and come together and build each other up. I think that's like, and helping their businesses, because in the end, we're all helping the youth and creating like the next generation of girls. And so it's like, how do we create that balance? How do we help and support each other? But it's like, we do still need the help of men in some senses, like, because they've gone through what we're going through now just a couple years ago, and let's learn from their mistakes. Like, it's not because like, oh, men, you know, paved the way. No, but they've made all the mistakes. Let's cut those out, right? So it's definitely a battle, because, and especially with social media, it's definitely like, how do I want to portray myself, and do I show my true colors? Do I which I started my YouTube channel, and my best friend, she runs it. She's my roommate, and she's from home, doesn't know anything about lacrosse, but she's, I think, portrayed my personality a little bit more. Whereas like, you know, I'm trying to be serious because like, this is my profession. It's just, there's all these variabilities, and it's just, you know, I'm going through it too. And I think it's great to be connected to other athletes in different realms and understand what they're going through.
Yeah. that when you say that, I'm like listening and thinking, oh my God, like I don't even think that I really thought that, but I agree. Like it's true. Like you want to be the way that keeps you relevant, that, you know, that you don't become a has-been too soon. And
Yeah.
being, you know, number one, being a professional athlete is hard enough, but then being a female is its own kind of battlefield, you know, because like you said, do I want to be this? Do I want to be that? Do I want to be the other? Like, am I coming across to this or to that? But that's where I feel like the model of the Athletes Unlimited, the style with, like you said, with the creativity and everything, is that every single piece is important and every single piece is valued, whether you're 5'11" or 5'3", right? Like those different types of things is like, we can't win without you and we can't win without me. So we need to do this together, kind of thing. So I think what you said really, really kind of hits home with, you know, you want to be who you are, and you all want to win, and you all want to lift each other up together, instead of with so few opportunities. It could very much be like, well, I need to keep all this to myself and all this success to myself, when in reality the sport is better for it if we all are each other's, you know, fans in a sense. But
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's hard. It's hard to, you know, be successful as it is. But you mentioned your academy. I wanted to ask you about that. That you started after you graduated. You started an academy for lacrosse players. So what inspired you to do that, and how has it been going from college to now kind of running your own thing?
I think I've had a passion for coaching my whole life, but I think my dad was like, this is like your path. And I was like, you know, trying to fight it because I wanted to go to New York and do like kind of what people from my area do. But then I finally realized that's not my path. Like
Mm-hmm.
coaching is something that it's like I like kind of like a drug, honestly. Like I could be having the worst day, and connecting with these girls and feeding off their energy, it completely switches. And also I got to show up and be this personality. So I got I get this high from being in front of these girls, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like playing when I wasn't playing, because we don't play all year round.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get that, you know, intense like gearing up for like I gear up for my draw day. I
Mm-hmm.
meet these girls from all over, like they're all over the country. I only get a small amount of time. I got to maximize it. I get an hour and a half, and I'm teaching a specific skill, which has a lot of detail, and it could
Yeah.
be sometimes boring. So how do I make it fun and different? And I want these girls to have this experience that they've never had before.
Yeah.
And I think I've, you know, found that through my journey in college, and realizing that, okay, you going and doing this fast-paced lifestyle in New York City isn't for me.
Hmm.
Actually, I'm going to go out and kind of mostly suburbia, work with these girls,
Yeah.
and um, get to touch people from all over, from different backgrounds, and
Right.
seeing I can make a difference and I can connect with the girl is just something so special, and is what made me who I am today.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to tons of clinics, and I don't think, you know, without those clinics, meeting my idols, from like going on the field to off the field, I would have been where I am today. So
Yeah.
knowing that I'm doing that for this younger generation is something that fuels me, and it's something that's keeps me, you know, always think about what's my next move, and how can I make things better, and how can I bring like other people along with me and keep pushing forward. So I've been constantly working with Greg and the Draw Control Academy,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of molding it with the time to stay relevant, and also make sure that the girls are getting what they need, and to become the best draw girl they could possibly be, or get that opportunity that they may not have had, right? Because they might have been slower, but this skill, if you really want to just be a draw girl, I want that girl to have that that tall girl that's not very fast, but she has great stick skills, to be that really important player that faces off and maybe, you know, gets off. Well, they draw and then they get off. I want a girl to have an opportunity and go to her dream school. that's like what's important to me, you know, fulfilling that dream.
Wow. I feel so inspired listening to that.
Oh, good.
I'm sure, you know, only having met you 10 minutes before we started recording, I could tell you, you have a very infectious energy. Like you can tell that you are absolutely in love with what you do. And I think that is so cool and so special. And it's like, I think that whenever you're done playing, hopefully it's not for a very long time, that you have this thing that you're passionate about and that fuels you, that you can do for however long you want to do it. And like you said, touch lives of young athletes, young females that want to go and be something greater, you know, and strive for something more.
Thank you. You make me feel very comfortable. That also helps.
Yes. Sweet.
Woo!
Oh man, I'm like, this is, I just think it, I'm just so excited to learn more, because all I know is softball. All I know is, you know, glove on this hand, ball in this hand. And that's like how I live my everyday life. And, like how you said, you figured out that what you didn't want with your life. And that's something I feel like I can relate to, because I knew that as long as I could play softball, as long as softball was in my daily life, that's the life that I wanted to live. And it seems like things kind of fall into place around you when you follow, you know, you work your ass off, of course, first and foremost, but that you follow that passion, that drive, and what at the end of the day, you know, you go to bed and you're like, this was exactly how I wanted to spend today, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my gosh. How do you feel about the direction that lacrosse is going? Because from what I understand is that it's like the fastest growing sport in America. And because when I the only real knowledge I had of lacrosse was that it was more of an East Coast sport when I grew up, because being from California. But now even my high school I went to in California has a lacrosse team. So it's gone from only thinking that it's the schools on the East Coast to now it's kind of trickling around the country. So how do you feel about the direction that it's going?
It's super exciting. Our technology for our stick and everything, I'm a Maverick athlete, is completely changed. And
Cool.
you can be super creative and do a lot of fun sticks, tricks, and skills. And the internet is, I think, helping the West Coast, and also all of these lacrosse players moving out west. Quality of life. I mean, I'm a sucker for it as well. I moved out west. It's wonderful out here. It's like I'm in Denver currently, but I've, you know, traveled to we talked Scottsdale and LA, and all these lacrosse players are, you know, spreading the game and finding these great pockets of athletes and kids. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone's taking pride in, you know, I'm from Arizona and I'm going to pave the way, right? And it just takes like a dad, and I've met a couple of these dads in Scottsdale, and you know, their kid loves the sport and they do anything to get like a couple people out there to teach and grow, and then that just becomes infectious like anything. And so I'm really excited for lacrosse, and I think we've tried to make it the rules more exciting and easy to understand, because coming like from your, like if I was sitting in your shoes, it is an intimidating sport with the sense of the rules can be like, what's that? Why did they stop? Is it Simon Says? Like, and you, and I think it's our job to teach creativity, because when I do like a one-handed behind the back shot, right, that spreads all over, right, because we have social media and kids go out there and do it. And that's I think our, like when you get to a certain level, like Athletes Unlimited as a pro, that's your job to, you know, grow the game, make it exciting, get whatever fuels that kid to get out there and play. So I think us lacrosse players are really trying to focus on building up the youth and growing the game. And these kids are doing like some really cool stuff. So
that's so exciting, because then it's like you want people to have the opportunity to feel about it the way that you felt about it, or that you know, people that you've looked up to and paved the way for you. Now you get to pave the way for someone else. And I think that that's really cool. And that's how you grow the game, is by getting more interest in wanting to try this other sport. I'm sure if I had an opportunity with a stick and a ball when I was younger, I would have probably tried to fling it around a little bit. I'm sure I would have, you know? So that's really, really cool that it is growing, and that it's growing so rapidly, and that it's reaching other places and and more people. What I want to ask you, because you are so passionate, is there, what do you, outside of lacrosse, what are you passionate about?
Ooh, that's a
I
good
know that's
question.
it's okay if the answer is nothing too, because I'd have a hard time thinking of an answer too.
Oh, I got a couple. Well,
Let's
after
go.
moving out west and being in Scottsdale,
Yeah.
and I spent some time in Park City, I love hiking.
Okay.
I love it. It's one of my, it's like so peaceful, and it's a different way of working out. I think we've all run our fair share of 300s and, miles, but to be able to like go, especially being on the West Coast where it's like the terrain could be so different on one single hike. You go from the desert to like high desert. So I don't know if I quarantined in Sedona, so I hiked every trail there.
Yeah. Wow. What a
Yeah.
place to be stuck.
Right. So I went out there because I was in California, and so hiking and yoga is another thing I'm super passionate about, because I did break my foot, and for all those girls and guys who go through injury, I know it can be a really weird place because you lost your identity and your passion. But I found yoga, and it's helped me recover, gave me great ankle strength and flexibility to prevent me from getting injured again. And it's like when we're moving meditation, I think for an athlete, so I am a yoga instructor.
Cool.
So right on. I forgot to tell you. And moving meditation for me is like something, it's just for someone who's go all the time, traveling, airplanes, playing the sport I love. It's like, they're like, you should meditate. And you're like, okay, let's try it. Let's find some peace in the morning. But I'm like, I wake up at 5 this morning. I woke up at like 5:45. So, okay, when I'm going to squeeze in my meditation. I mean, you can always find a way, but I think when I go through yoga, I'm only thinking about the moves and holding the poses and the music. And that's meditating, because my mind is clear and I'm present. Yeah. So that is my time. And I always, either it's 20 minutes or wherever it might be, to an hour and a half. I do love my hot yoga. That's an hour and a half.
Yeah. Wow.
I found like this teacher, Allison Arnon and Gwen Lawrence, who's these two different yoga instructors. One is just for athletes. Another is just for same thing, moving meditation, finding peace. Cool. So I think that's something that grounds me and not only keeps me balanced left to right, but in my soul. And I found a different community outside lacrosse that is I think we all go to yoga for different reasons and get that rinse out. So I've been teaching yoga here in Denver. I've been doing like football athletes at Pivotal Sports, which is down in Parker, and Pivotal Performance is where I work out here. And so Nolan gave me the opportunity to teach yoga to some football athletes and some of our lacrosse athletes, unlimited girls who've been training out there. Yeah. And so it's been nice.
Wow. That's so cool. And I love that your other passions are also active things. I think that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I don't think I could sit still. I wish I could.
I think that's so cool that yoga came out of a time that could have been a really bad time in your life. Cause that's something I did see in your bio, that you did have an injury, and like you already mentioned it, but that yoga helped you come out of it. And now you have this great thing, this great staple in your life, where an injury, like you said, it can really knock you on your butt and make you feel totally like useless, cause whereas before you have your team can rely on you, your coach can rely on you. Now you're like, I can't, my foot broke. Like I can't walk. So I think that's so cool that passion came out of a down time for you. So that makes it even cooler.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people people or athletes can understand, like, if you get injured, it's like, what do you do? And it's like, you you got to still be for the team, and you got to be a great cheerleader. It's a different role, and I know it's scary sometimes, but you just got to go 110% and cheer your teammates on, be that sideline like energy that they need. And then I also found another passion, because I feel like, you know, we've spent such a big chunk playing our sport, and just like, okay, I need to identify with something else. And I think, you know, either if it's art or drawing or painting or reading, there's always ways that you can grow in differently. So don't be for all those listening, don't be discouraged when you're injured. You will find a way. There's always, if there's a will, there's a way. You'll find something.
Yeah. And good. Like, you look back and you think, wow, that was what a bummer time, but then so many good things have happened because of it. So I think that, you know, you think about when you're going through something hard and you're like, oh my God, this sucks. But then you look back on it, you're like, thank goodness I went through that. Thank goodness I went through the hard times. So there's so much to be learned. God, sports, man. They're just sports. It's just the best.
I know. We got a little heavy there.
That's, you know, we got to keep it fun, but, you know, with the things that happen. But I'm so grateful that you shared your experience with me and your journey and everything that kind of goes into being a bitchin' lacrosse player. Like,
well, thank you.
Yeah. I'm so excited to keep like learning and then watch it. And I'm gonna look up the Twizzlers so that I can see what that actually is. Okay. But you did a really good job of explaining the behind the back, the B2B. So I feel like,
look at that lingo.
I'm just saying, I didn't even write it down. I just remembered it in my head. So thank you. I mean, I can't wait for July for when you guys get out there and start playing, and I want to go watch. And what's cool is I'll probably be able to watch on TV too. So I
can't wait to be your biggest fan. Go Sam.
Yes.
Woo!
You know what? We're going to exchange number one fans with each other. I'll be your number one fan. You can be mine. And then we're just calling it just Go Sports, you know? But last question, very important question. Yes. I saved it for last on purpose. Do you have a name for your stick?
The Ascent?
Is that the brand, or do you have like a name that you call it?
Oh, you mean like, well, I'm a Maverick athlete, and my stick is the Ascent. Okay, cool. And because it has a little pink in it, and it's like rose gold, so it's like
that's cool.
Badass. And really cool. It's 22 degrees, so it has that tilt. But so that's what I use. And so, sorry.
No, that's okay. I like the badass picture. I think it's cool.
Oh, thank you. So that's the stick I use. I love it. I've grown with Maverick, and I think it's been super cool. But other girls have other different sticks. Cool. But we all have a stick. So you have a head, and then you got the shaft, and then the shaft has a butt. And then
I love it.
And wait, I got one.
I'm so excited. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't wait.
So I got Maverick always sends me goodies. Yay. And I will send you one. But so like we got all yellow. So you have different color in here. And then this one's different. This one's like silver. Maverick.
That's cool.
And now the butts are attached, because I used to remember I had to tape my butt because my butt would fall off. But now, you know, technology, man, and this is so light. Look at this. Woo!
Wow, look at that balance.
And different colors.
Oh my God.
I'm sending you one. You need it.
I honestly have never needed anything more in my whole life.
So we got the head.
The head.
This is the mesh. So because that's what we have similar.
There's the mesh.
And this is new edition, because we weren't allowed to have this, but now, like, because the boys have it, but now us girls can have it too.
Oh yeah.
Shaft.
Got it. And then there's your butt.
Butt.
You know what's funny is that the end of our bats, that's the butt of our bats. So there's butts everywhere.
All right, I'm coming to Phoenix, and I'm swinging the thing.
Let's do it. Honestly, that's gonna be the dream team. The dream
team. I'll bring my foldable net, and
we're rocking and rolling. And then next season for Athletes Unlimited softball, you can come and play with softball, and then I can play also with lacrosse. So we're just gonna be cross Cross Sports Athletes Unlimited.
Virtual shake.
I'm just saying.
Virtual shake.
Yeah, it's on. It's on. Well, Sammy Jo, you have been an absolute pleasure, and I'm so excited to see what this, Athletes Unlimited career is going to look like for you, and what just
thank you.
Yeah, and everything that you're doing to, continue to grow your sport and continue to inspire the younger generation. I think that's amazing, and I'm just so glad that we got the chance to talk about you for the whole time. I love it.
Me, thank you.
Yes.
Now I need to, I need to interview you. Or maybe I'll just call you after because we're new friends.
I know right now that we're officially friends. Now we can be friends after this as well. So I love it.
Cool.
Well, good luck with everything, and I will obviously be seeing you in the Athletes Unlimited world.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I feel honored.
Yes, of course. Thanks, Sammy.